Hey there, eager beavers! It's great to be back. It's that time again. It's time for yet another episode of our UnifyHub podcast. I'm sure you've been waiting in eager anticipation for this one. So, episode 3 of our series. It's a good one. British versus American English. Oh my gosh! So, I'm totally stoked about our guest teacher today. He's all the way from across the pond. By the way, across the pond is an English idiom which means on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. And he's already making waves at UnifyHub with his teacher training workshops. By the way, making waves means creating a significant impression. Sorry folks, the water-related idioms are just flooding in today. Haha. So, howdy Brandon, hello. Can you tell us about yourself in a nutshell?
Yeah, hi. Thanks for this awesome intro. So, I am indeed from the US. Definitely the water is an appropriate thing to mention. I'm from a kind of coastal area, very swampy in the deep south of the US. I am in quite the opposite climate now here in St. Petersburg in Russia. Very fresh here in Russia, very new to UnifyHub, just started this past spring. And in terms of just what brought me here in interest, obviously I'm a bit of a language nerd, obviously passionate about travel, really excited to discover new things and new places. I'm a big fan of museums, dusty archives, cafes, restaurants.
So cool.
Yeah, but I love nature as well, so hoping to kind of explore a bit of that here in Russia.
Oh, I'm kind of jealous, and I was just saying to you earlier that I think I really want to get to St. Petersburg, and I've got to visit, and I'm learning basic Russian at the moment. How's your Russian, Brandon, by the way?
Extremely non-existent. I can order a coffee, I can say excuse me, I can say hello in the elevator. I have become very good at pointing in Russian, as I call it.
Oh, look, my Russian pointing finger is superb. Brilliant.
Precisely.
Brilliant. Well, I think like survival, as long as you've got some survival phrases, you'll do okay. Brandon, I'm so excited to have you on the show. It is just so cool, first of all, to have a variety of accents. I'm so interested in the deep south of the US as well. If I were going to go to the US, I would definitely be in blues country, and I would be trying to look for soul food. Is Georgia about soul food, or am I making a massive cultural faux pas?
No, you are extremely on target with that. We are definitely
Okay.
into it, and we have the waistlines to match.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Oh. So, okay, part 1, Brandon. We're going to talk about common stereotypes between British and Americans. So, what are some typical stereotypes about Americans? And we'll then talk about British. So let's have some fun and laugh at ourselves here. What are some common stereotypes?
Definitely a fun topic to get going strong. I will say that I feel like this is a general thing, not just between Britain and America, but I tend to feel like Americans are noted for smiling and being happy all the time.
Yeah.
And
Good morning, and just really enthusiastically smiling at strangers in the street and saying good morning. Yeah, I believe that.
and you know what? I will confirm that this is extremely true. I am carrying on this proud tradition. I'm trying to keep it a little under control here in Russia. It's a little less acceptable here, and I think in general, outside of our country, in Europe in general, I think in the northern European countries, like I felt very comfortable in Spain, maybe in southern France, they're a little similar to us, but the further north you go, the further east you go, you should be a little more reserved. So,
Yeah, they do. They get more reserved as you go further towards that part of the world. Yes, okay. Um, well, today, Brandon, you can be your true unfiltered self in all your glory. Just letting you know.
thank you. I feel very comfortable.
Well, I think one funny one about British, it's kind of the opposite. And it is true as well. It's a true stereotype. So that we are very inassertive, very passive, and very polite, and also severely lacking a backbone, so not being able to tell people what we really think or complain about anything. And it's really annoying, which is why I like working with Russian speakers, because they teach me. They teach me to have a backbone, and they teach me to directly communicate. Okay, give me another stereotype, Brandon. Anything else that you think is common, a common American stereotype?
You know, that's a really good point. Yeah, I do find British people are very, very agreeable, and I think Americans tend to be like that in our own way, more assertively, and I think that connects to
Yes.
definitely another stereotype, as you asked for, is that and I guess it's kind of an iteration of the same thing, but the extreme positivity. Even in difficult situations, we tend to want to sugarcoat things. We want to make everything always, I guess pleasant would be the word. You know, everything is a joke. Everything is an
Yes.
affirmation.
Positive. Yes. Yes.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. I would say that's a similarity that manifests in a different way. Yeah, so we are always trying to make everyone friends.
I love that. I love that. I always say the best customer service in the world is in the US. I mean, you don't just walk into a store in the US, okay? You walk into a store, you look at a shirt or a pair of shoes, and the shop assistant just, with all her enthusiasm and love, just showers you with attention, and that is gonna look great on you, and yeah, what a great choice. Hi, how are you? How's your day? And I'm like, whoa, this is something next level. This customer service here is like, have to say, it's one of my favorite parts of eating out and shopping in the US. Like, wow, you guys are just, in Britain, they're like, I'm just going to try to pretend I didn't see the customers because I don't want to make awkward social interactions. Like, it's your job, you're a shop assistant. Yeah, but I just don't want to speak to other people. It's very, very different. So, yeah, amazing. Okay, let's talk about vocab. As you're a language nerd, a self-professed language nerd, Brendan. So let's have some fun with vocabulary. So, okay, pants versus trousers. Come on, tell me about this, please.
Oh my God. So this is one of the worst pitfalls, I would say, because I will be honest, I studied in Canada. So I don't know if everybody's aware, but Canada is Britain light. So, they still have quite a bit of the cultural sensibilities and especially the language of the UK.
Right.
So there I got very comfortable with what I like to call Britishisms, some of them. However, that said, the one thing I can never, ever, 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 ever get comfortable with is this pants trousers thing. Pants, I honestly, it embarrasses me to even say this to an English person because I am painfully aware that this means underwear for you guys, and it just, I cringe every time I think about it because I absolutely cannot in my American brain think of pants as anything other than the jeans and khakis, trousers, if you will, that I wear. So that just, I have to be honest, that's one of the things that just always makes me feel like I'm speaking a foreign language.
Yes, it's really funny, isn't it? I really like your pants. What? My underwear is on show? Why are you commenting on my underwear? This is very inappropriate. Brilliant. Okay, what about then garbage versus rubbish? They mean the same thing, but do you guys use rubbish in the US? Or just garbage?
Garbage is definitely the go-to word. Rubbish is used in no way related to actual trash. We tend to use this in an ironic way when it's used at all. Like, people say that's rubbish, and frequently it's employed with a fake British accent to really increase. Yeah.
Amazing.
So we definitely associate that with English people in every situation.
That is so cool. Could I ask you, Brandon, because I'm absolutely happy to make fun of myself, would you say rubbish?
Oh my God, what have I done to
myself?
That's rubbish. This is what I get.
Please.
This is what I get for bringing that up. But yeah, I can go ahead and say my accent is rubbish.
Oh, Brandon, brilliant. You could be a Cockney. You are from East London right now, really. Brilliant. That's rubbish. And of course, trash. We know trash is very American, isn't it, as well?
I
Um,
think so, yeah.
okay, what about then? I like this one. The car vocabulary. I'm going to move down to parts of the car. Now, whenever I do this with a student, they just really do not know. They like nobody knows this, and it seems to be the hardest part of British and American. So, at the front of the car, you open the front of the car, and you've got the engine, blah blah blah. That in British English is called a bonnet. The front of the car is called a bonnet. What do you guys call
That
it?
is definitely the hood. Yeah. A bonnet for us is a piece of clothing for women in the 19th century.
Yes, it's a funny kind of hat, isn't it? A bonnet. Okay. Okay, and tell us about the back of the car then, Brendan. What is the back of the car called?
So you will never, ever, ever go to the boot of your car. You will always open your trunk. For us, that is a
Your
trunk.
trunk. But an elephant's trunk. Surely, like, the only trunk is a tree trunk or an elephant's trunk.
Well, also, I don't know if this has the same usage in England, so I see your confusion and raise you a bit more. But, we also use this term for, like, what maybe sometimes are called chests, like a storage chest. So those are trunks. So
Yes.
I would imagine that when we started mass producing cars, I imagine people were like, oh, it's just a trunk, but on your car. So
Yeah, exactly. It makes perfect sense now. I finally feel like I'm understanding the logic here. You're enlightening me, Brandon, honestly. So great. Okay, I like this one a lot. So, the 7-Eleven. Tell me about the 7-Eleven, and for our listeners, because they are English students, what is a 7-Eleven?
Well, you're going to have fun with this. This, I think, is going to frankly be a very regional thing for the U.S. 7-Eleven actually does
Okay.
not even exist everywhere in the U.S. Where I grew up, they are, yeah.
Right.
So even in the U.S., if you say, I'm going to go to the 7-Eleven, most people will understand this, but very few people will think that it's a general term. So in general, I would even go further and say, like, I'm going to the gas station, I'm going to the convenience store, or it's quite simply just the store. It really depends on your
Right.
situation there.
Interesting. So we would say probably the corner shop. The corner shop in that's the same. It's quite regional actually in the UK. Some people would say the market or maybe the supermarket. It really does depend actually. But corner shop is basically our 7-Eleven. What is the principle of it? Of the 7-Eleven. So it's not in all regions then, but what's the idea behind it?
So that's why I prefer the more general convenience store, because it's
Yeah.
convenience, right? It's a small shop. You
Yeah.
can just go, obviously overpriced because of the convenience, but
Exactly.
yeah, you can find a lot in the U.S. in particular. You can find like even basic like fruit items. So if you're a healthier eater, you can grab an apple, a couple of bananas. Maybe you can always get your coffee, your caffeine fix there. You
Yeah.
have different household items, like if you need some cleaning materials, anything personal hygiene items, you can grab those there. And in general, the 7-Eleven in particular is like a standalone shop, but a lot of these convenience stores in this style, you can also stop and fuel up your car, so you can get gas if you're on the road. So it's really like a one-stop shop in a very small area that you can just pick up random
Yeah,
things.
like everything in one go, basically. But as you said, slightly overpriced. Yeah, we have like our version of that called the Spa, and it's SPAR, but it's more like prices of an SPA Spa. It's really expensive. It's like, oh, it's called the Spa, but it's actually very pricey. But yeah, it's basically a convenience store. Okay, let's move on now, Brandon, to slang. This is going to be very cool. So, I actually have no idea what you would say in these situations. So, I'll give you a British slang term, and let's see if we can come up with an American equivalent, because I really need to expand my US vocab here. So, okay, You all right, mate?
There we would definitely be like, are you good?
Are you good? Okay, are you good? I like it. Are you good? Okay, what about number two? I'm absolutely knackered.
Oh, I'm dead.
Oh, I'm dead. I like it. Like, I'm dead. Ah, brilliant. Number three. Now, this is quite northern, this expression actually. They say it really from the Midlands and further north. Liverpool, Manchester. I'm well chuffed.
Oh my god, so I am going to have to ask you to translate this before I can even give you I have no idea. I don't even know if I'd be comfortable guessing what.
Oh, well, only because I have a Mancunian friend do I know this phrase. Actually, I would have to also translate it from British English if I didn't have this friend. Okay, so I'm well chuffed means like I'm over the moon. I'm so pleased. I'm delighted.
I see. I think the closest we could get to would be I'm floored.
I'm floored. That is so cool. I'm floored. Could you say I'm totally floored?
I'm totally floored. You could always add more adjectives and adverbs. Oh,
Yeah,
we
like the
love.
modifiers.
We are
Yeah.
such a people of modifiers. Yeah, the more emotional, the better.
Oh, I get that. I really get that. And yeah, I totally like. I love modifiers just for the emotional effect, like you said. Okay, next slang term. That's proper cheeky. That's proper cheeky.
I don't think I could hear a more British phrase than this. Yeah, definitely when we hear the word cheeky or cheek. I get the impression, so let me make a guess here, because I feel like cheeky is a little bit of attitude, right? That generally means somebody has a bit of attitude, no?
Yes, a bit of attitude, but not necessarily offensive, but almost endearing. A little bit of an endearing or lovable attitude.
Ah, I see, I see. So we've started kind of saying, ah, you're bold. That's bold.
Bold, yes, I like it. Oh, that's bold. Oh, you're totally bold, dude. Like
Yeah.
that's proper cheeky. You're totally bold. Love it. Okay, next one. He's a top bloke.
Yeah, that's also super English for our ears. Frankly, it's strangely we don't give direct compliments this often, but I would definitely just say something really I don't think it's that colorful. We're just like, oh, he's a great guy. He's a great dude. Maybe
Nice.
if you want to be really effusive, oh, he's a quality guy. Yeah.
That's a nice one. Nice one. Yeah, Guy seems also very American for us. Can I ask you about Guy, actually, Brandon? Do you use guys for a group of men and women? Because I still use guys when I'm talking about men and women together. Or is it only for men?
So I'm going to tell you this is also regional. So when I am speaking standard American English, as I try to do in all of my lessons, I am very very attached to saying you guys,
Me too.
for mixed groups of people. But where I'm from in the deep South, you will never use this word. It is considered almost blasphemous in a religious sense.
Really?
Because we still use the word y'all to refer to groups of people.
Y'all.
Yeah, and
I
obviously
love
I'm
it.
not teaching that to anybody. So yeah. Here in the classes, I'm using guys quite a bit.
Oh, I love y'all. I'm really going to try to use y'all today in my everyday conversation. Honestly, I'm just going to y'all like 20 times, I'm telling you.
I encourage it.
So, Brandon, I would like to finish by asking you to share a funny anecdote from class. Now, it would be great if this funny story could be about American English in some way, but if not, just any funny anecdote. Have you got any stories for us? Funny moments from class?
Oh wow, yeah, there are a few. I don't know if my students would appreciate me sharing. I have to say, so we're using right now in some of the lessons a British textbook, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever run into this, but so different are our dialects that even the grammar sometimes looks a little strange. I have to be honest, and people expect that grammar is always going to be very, very coherent and unchanging because it's grammar, right? Big scary grammar.
Yeah.
So to give you an example, I have had to explain to my students why under no circumstances should they ever say, "Oh, but you have done."
What?
So
You are.
I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but like you guys in England or in general, you will say things like, where in the US we would say, for example, "Oh, I didn't mean to offend you." Oh, well, you did. You offended me. In I think for you guys, it would be very comfortable to say
You
something
have
like,
done.
"You have done."
Yes.
So
Yes.
we have run into this in some lessons, and my students, I feel like I am losing credibility by the second trying to tell them why that is not something they should say, but it's okay if they want to sound British. And they're like, "This makes no sense." And I'm like, you know what? Time to go. So I don't know, that's not a very scandalous little anecdote there.
I
but
love it. I love it.
It does. It always stumps me, like, because there's really, I don't feel any logical explanation for why this happens. There are a few other things, grammar-wise,
It's like
that come
the
up.
battle of present perfect versus past simple. British favour the present perfect, and in the American corner is the past simple because it's just simpler. And it's like, I get it. And sometimes my students say like, "Well, I just ate lunch," and I'm like, "That is so US English right there. I just ate lunch." And I'm like, "Well, actually, to be honest, just, and we go through that whole thing as well. And then in the end, I'm like, yeah, look, it's American English. You can do it. It's fine. Okay. It's not a battle I'm going to win here, right?"
Precisely, yeah. Sometimes you just have to give up and go home. So,
Yeah, exactly. Well, Brandon, I have learned quite a lot from you today, and I'm definitely going to add "y'all" into my speaking more. And you have inspired me to get to know Georgian culture a little bit. I'm going to go deeper into your state and look at some Southern culture in the US. So, Brandon, thank you so much for being our guest today. You have absolutely brightened up my Friday morning. It's been wonderful.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, I think I learned quite a bit to do today as well.
By the way, Brandon, you are a top bloke. Totally top bloke.
Well, I am absolutely well chuffed to hear that then. Right?
Thanks,
Was that
Brandon.
right? I don't even know if I...
Yeah, you're saying it perfectly. Well chuffed. Like, proper sick. Brandon, thank you so much, and see you for the next podcast, I hope.
Indeed. Thank you so much. Have a
See
great
ya.
day.
Have a good day.